Good morning. No time to waste today. I'm in the cab and I'm off to southwest London. That's because I've heard reports that an iconic Londoner has been spotted around the King's Road. I want to meet this man and find out his story. Let's go. I've made my way to Chelsea, just off the King's Road, because there's been a sighting of the amazing golden cycling man of Wimbledon. I've been wanting to track this man down for years. So I've been looking everywhere. He hasn't turned up yet. But fingers crossed, finally I can meet up with this iconic...
Is it me you're looking for?
The question on every Londoner's lips. Who are you?
Bond. James Bond. The Golden Man of Wimbledon. Welcome to the Secrets of London. And today, I'm going to tell you my story.
James has been turning heads in London now for nearly 10 years. On a nice sunny day, you may be lucky enough to catch him pedalling around the streets of Wimbledon or making his way through West London along the King's Road, up Sloane Street and then onto Park Lane and finally Oxford Street. James is one of the most photographed individuals in London, and when he makes his way across the capital, traffic literally comes to a stop. James has many different costumes, but is mostly renowned for his golden cycling man attire. As he's always on the move, it's been very difficult for anyone to get up close and find out more about this colourful, what some may say, extroverted character. So I'm so lucky today to get the chance. Obviously, my first question was, how did the Golden Man of Wimbledon all come about? Well, James suffered a personal bereavement. He lost his fiancée in 2006 when he was resident in Thailand. He created his colourful bicycle because, in his own words, light will conquer darkness. My flower-covered bicycle is a memorial to her. When he returned home in 2012, he decided to carry on cycling his colourful bikes around the capital to bring joy and light to Londoners, and at the same time, keeping her memory alive. So, first of all, I know you told me this is called the Crown bike. Can you just point to some of the special features that make up this unique vehicle?
Right, well, so I've got Halloween stuff here, which I've used an ice cream cone here. The crowns are made from coat hangers, ice cream, plastic and wooden beads. These are trophy mascots. You've got sort of like Indian garland pieces here. Baroque pieces that you put on furniture. I love Baroque. Trophies, you know, that sort of thing. These are actually from a sweeping brush, which I pulled apart. Those Indian sweeping brooms. Everything folds up so I can get through a standard sized door. These are on camera tripod legs, so they can collapse so I can get it again through standard sized doors. This is a vintage cinder cone from 1989, which is basically knackered, and it's had so many repairs on it, and it's a nightmare. The worst thing is, the worry is that if I get a puncture, it's not something you can turn upside down. So luckily I've got very strong puncture resistant tyres, and I've only actually had one puncture in the last 20 years. I keep watching the ground, looking up for the glass.
Yeah. How much is the weather a factor of you going out?
Yes, I wouldn't take it out when it's windy weather. So if it's like over 21 gusts, I keep watching the internet, looking at weather forecasts and so many sites. And so if it's too windy, I wouldn't bother.
Can you tell me a little bit about the music system on this bike and how you've incorporated it into the structure?
Sure. Well, here I've got 3 speaker systems and a vintage Walkman, which is basically a cassette. I won't put it on.
Could you give us a blast?
Sure. On my other bike, I've actually got 2 bikes. They look both the same. I've actually got 7 speakers. Here I've got 3. On the other bike I've got 7. So, and I tend to use more sort of psychedelic music, which actually psychedelic stuff will just blend in perfectly with the bike because it's more of a psychedelic colours.
And do you have a particular costume for a particular bike?
Yes, I've gone through many different costumes. I used to wear a very, very heavy one, which is the coat was about 4 kilos. But this is a nice lightweight one, and the hat's just something with a feather in. If the weather is a bit windy, then I would stay local around Wimbledon, Tooting. If it's not too bad, then I love to get to King's Road. King's Road is a favourite place of mine. If it's a really nice calm day, I'll go as far as Oxford Street, Piccadilly Circus, and that's a 21-mile cycle. It takes about 4 hours, and on a bike like this, it's you can feel like you're doing double the time. But it's great fun. You're cycling around, and there's people waving, there's people smiling, and there's cameras, and that's the petrol that keeps me going. The feathers I use are Ostrich feathers because they're large and they take up a lot of airspace, so they're not heavy and they look good on the bike. But the trouble is, the sun fades them. A pink feather can go white in, say, half a year, and the exhaust fumes, they will go black. So I have to keep replacing them every half a year. The top half of the mast is made from telescopic fishing rods because it's lightweight and it's very flexible. The bottom half is made of bamboo sticks, very strong. Halloween masks from the pound shop. They were originally silver, but I've used a special glaze to make it still shiny but look gold.
So what part of London do you get the most attention from the public?
Well, both really. I mean, in Wimbledon it's like, here he is. In London, the West End, Oxford Street, it's like, oh, look at that.
James, can you tell me how long you've been cycling and when it all started?
Yeah, it started about 20 years ago. I've done about 10 years in Thailand, which you can see there's slight Thailand influence on this, and 10 years here in London.
How many hours of investment has it taken to create this incredible vehicle?
Well, I don't know, it's more like an add-on effect. It's like a tree that keeps growing. If I look at a photograph and I say to myself, it needs something there, then I will. I'll put a bit more on. So it's just sort of like over the years you put more and more on.
What have you noticed change over the years in and around London?
Well, these days the cars are all grey. Think of the 70s. All the cars are so colourful. Now I stand out because the cars are just grey. They might call it gunmetal or whatever, or silver, but it's grey. And they're buying it because it makes the car look, they see the contours of the car better. But it's turned the streets into a grey street. That's okay. I stand out more.
So what was it like cycling in Thailand compared to London?
Oh, Thailand, the weather was perfect, glorious weather, every day. But here it's a nightmare. It's almost raining all the time. It should be called Rainland instead of England. And the wind's always blowing. It's actually a miracle I've managed to get this tropical vision done here in London. People think maybe I'm an extrovert, but actually in reality, I'm actually a very shy, quiet person, rather reclusive in fact. I love creating my bikes, just like an artist would paint a picture. But the thing that gives me so much joy is seeing so many people so happy when I cycle around. The world is a stage, and I'm here to perform for you.
After what seemed like the 300th interruption that day from the general public, who wanted to take photos and ask questions, which is understandable as James creates so much attention, he decided he should go. So with a wave of his hand, he was off towards the King's Road to bring some more joy, happiness and light to the lives of Londoners.